Hi all, welcome back to another session on webmethods.io. So in this, I wanted to show how GraphQL processing can be done in webmethods.io. So in our previous video, what we have checked is we have done it using the on-prem version. So let's do the same in IO. So without any further ado, let's start. So I've created a project called GraphQL, and in the GraphQL, I'm going to create a workflow. And I'm going to pass it a HTTP request here. And here the trigger point will be webhook. But one thing to observe in webhook is the whether you pass data in headers or in the body or in the query, or not in the query, but in the body and headers, it says that it accepts only JSON content. But if you observe, our content is not JSON. Instead, it is GraphQL query. So in order to like say make it work in wm.io, especially when you're using webhook, what you need to do is, so I'll show you why doesn't it work. So if I just go and copy this query and just come here, and the body, if I pass this, see what it says. It says that expected a query, expected a string instead got something else. So because this is not proper JSON, that's why it is throwing error. So now what we can do is we can bypass it and say, I will pass it as JSON string to you, but in the as a query, as a string. So here what I'm doing is I'm going to pass the JSON in this empty space at runtime, and I'll assign that to a variable called GraphQL in the body. So now this is done, and I will generate the webhook token and auto connect it, and done. So now we need to map these both HTTP and these things. So if it is orange, so that means the configuration needs to be done. I'll click next, and we use the post method, and let's take the URL, which is the base URL for Star Wars testing API. So that is done. And I wanted to pass the content type. If you guys remember in a previous video, content type is important while you are testing it in web methods, or else it will not be able to pass it. So we will let the URL know that we are passing the GraphQL. Yeah. And in the body type, I will select the data as raw. And here the catch is I'm going to send it in GraphQL. So I'll just map it like this. And next, done. So if you observe, the orange color is gone, which means that the configuration for this is done correctly now. So let's go to the return on webhook. And in this, what I will do is I'll want the response text, and I know it's a JSON. So click next, done. So our part is done here. Remember, when you execute the workflow, the logs should come. But now when you execute, the logs won't come. I'll let you know why. Yeah. So what I need to do is I'll go to webhook. I'll copy this and go to post. Yes, I pasted the URL. And next, I'll pass the webhook key, and I'll send that here in the webhook key. And one more thing to notice here is, if I pass the data directly like this, like let's assume that I'm going to pass it. As I said, it is a JSON format. I'll say GraphQL : and we said we'll be passing in between this, right? But if you see, it is throwing all the errors here, saying that unexpected end of string and all these things, and so the data seems to be incorrect here. So how do I solve this now? And moreover, we are passing this colon, I mean, this quotation marks here. So this treats as the end of the character or end of line or something. But we wanted to show them that you need to still consider this as quotation marks and not as the separate key value pairs. So how do we overcome that? We go here, copy paste the same thing, and we need to first thing we need to do is, sorry, bypass the first one. Okay. So let's see whether this one will accept it or not. As per my experience, this will not still not accept. Yeah. So another transformation we need to do is to properly format the JSON. So it is having CRLFs, which is backslash R and backslash N. I want to take this as all single lines here. So for that, what you need to do, Control H, backslash R, backslash N, keep it as extended and replace all. It will go as a single line here now. So even we can check by formatting it and see if it is formatted incorrectly, then there will be no error. See, there is no error. That's why it is formatted correctly. And even if I copy this and paste here, there won't be any red marks now. See, this is now accepted. Let's run it. Okay, now this has run successfully and it has given me the output also. But if you come here, we don't see any logs here. Why? Because for whenever you use webhook as your trigger, you need to do some configuration in webmethods.io. How can we do that? Just go to this gear icon, click on execution settings, and explicitly check this and check this option. And if you wanted to do any, if there are any failures and all, and if you wanted to restart and resume, so you can select this option and click this and now save. So now let's run one more time. So it is running there. See, now the request has come and even the visual representation is happening and the execution logs in the footer is like blinking here. So that means the logs will be coming here. See, it shows that these are the details. And in the body, we are passing this. Observe this carefully. Here, I said to escape it. So that's the reason when the request is flowing into IO, that has considered as single character and all. I mean, it didn't consider it as end of the line or sorry, or a value or something or a separate variable. Instead, it took it as the normal request and it has passed the request to HTTP where we kept all these details. Yeah. And once that is done, we are returning the data. That output also we can see here. In the response text, the output will be there. And what we are doing at the end, we are saying that, okay, whatever response text you got, show me as output. So now this has come. This has worked perfectly fine. Let's execute one more query and see if this works or not. So I've copied the query here. Yeah, and then click next. So it is executing there. It has executed and still it is blinking now. and the logs are stored here. And you get the details here saying that okay, the data is successful. You can even check the timings. The last one is this. Here we send the details. Yeah, we are querying this and we are getting the response. So this is how you do GraphQL processing in webmethods.io. Thank you.